Hey, everybody, I'm Steve Green with Bill Whittle and Scott Ott, and this is your right angle lightning round.
Yay?
Yay is right. You know it. Hey, if you're new to the whole lightning round concept, usually on these right angle segments, we talk about a particular issue in depth, and we always know what we're talking about because we talk about it first on Backstage, which is our special pre-production meeting that is available only to members at BillWhittle.com. So if you're not a member, you're missing out on the real good stuff there. Anyway, instead of that, I select headlines. Bill and Scott have no idea what they are, and I hit them with it like a bolt of lightning to get the very freshest take possible. So without further ado, let's start off with, we're going to start with you this week, Bill. 15% of Tibet's population has been transferred to Chinese training centers as mass labor program expands. Now, I looked this up today. There are about 6.5 million ethnic Tibetans, which means that over 1 million of them are now working in these Chinese forced labor camps. What I guess I'm trying to ask you, Bill, here is, isn't Trump Hitler?
Yeah. And if it weren't, the only difference being, the 6 million dead Jews and another 6 million dead people. But other than that, they're identical. Steve, you're a history buff, and I've been working on a historical series, and I've just been finished writing the story of the Doolittle Raiders. And one of the things that the survivors, they left an aircraft carrier, took bombers off of an aircraft carrier, bombed Tokyo, and then headed for China, where all the planes crashed and most of the crews got back. And they talked about how generous the Chinese were and how kind they were. And they ended up killing 250,000 at least in retaliation for having sheltered these American raiders.
The Japanese killed 250,000 Chinese?
That's right. Yep, they went into where the Americans had landed, and anybody who might possibly, it wasn't even a question whether they might have actually harbored the raiders. They just went in and killed 250,000 people. And reading this description of the Chinese, Steve, I thought, my God, they just sound like such good people. What happened? And then I realized, they're in Taiwan, because these were all of Chiang Kai-shek's people. These are not the communist Chinese. These are not Mao's people. These are not the people that murdered 50 million of their own people. These were entirely different people who are now in Taiwan. And I just remember being struck by that, by how every American flyer said they were so generous, so kind, so brave, and took enormous punishment, but they never ratted us out. They never and I couldn't square that with things like what you just said about 15% of the population being hauled off and put into camps. And then I realized, no, the guys that the Doolittle Raiders encountered were the guys who lost to these guys, and they're doing what communists do. Let's have some more of that here, please.
Incentives matter. People who live under a communist authoritarian regime are going to act that way. People who live
Steve,
in a free
can I add something
republic.
To this?
Yeah, please do.
I'm reading H.R. McMaster's new book, Battlegrounds, right now, and he's got a very lengthy section on China and their campaign of coercion and co-option and concealment, and he focuses on these are concentration camps. These are not work camps. These are places where they allegedly go take the Uyghurs and the Tibetans and take them to re-educate them and force them to sing patriotic songs and stuff like that. But we're seeing concentration camps in our day. Now, that doesn't mean they're gassing prisoners in the way the Jews were gassed during World War II. But this is a serious moral offense to the world and deserves a serious response from the global community, if you want to call it that. Not that there is such a thing that hasn't been co-opted by China. But this is not some little trifle or some internal civil war. This is something that we are going to look back on with shame if we don't rise up and do something about it.
Yeah, they're going to wipe out the Uyghurs and the Tibetans. That's their goal, and unless the CCP falls, they're going to get away with it. Scott, to you. I gave you the wrong headline, so I'm going to skip. I'll give it to you anyway. This was a couple of videos that I don't have ready. Maybe we can edit these in. Of Trump appearing to struggle to breathe in a video of his return to the White House after a COVID-19 treatment in the hospital. I'm telling you what, I've had a couple of nasty flus over my adult lifetime where, for a week, you're in bed, and when you try and move, you struggle for breath. Trump in these videos has just walked up, the big flights of stairs. He's still technically in treatment, and yeah, he's a little winded. Is that news, or is that scaremongering, or is it both? I don't know.
Under normal circumstances, I would say that's not news. However, because of the context, it is. In fact, it was news that was staged by the White House. The White House wanted this video to get out. They wanted to show the president walking up the stairs. He turned, he gave the thumbs up signal. He was there to have his picture taken and to be recorded on video. And so in my mind, really, this is an unforced error on the part of the Trump administration to have the president up there. Now, I don't know how he normally is. By the time I'm 74 years old and I'm on pace to be at the same level of obesity as the president is by that time, if not already. By the time if I'm able to walk up a flight of stairs without heavy breathing, I'll be grateful. I don't know if he normally is breathing like that, but he clearly, when I saw the video the first time, it was raw, unfiltered, no spin by the media. I just saw the video and I immediately thought, wow, he's having a hard time breathing. And why did they pose him in front of the cameras like that in a situation where it's clear that he is not doing well and will only cast doubt on the rosy, prognosis and diagnosis of his condition?
Yeah, I had a thing, this has got to be 15, 16 years ago now. I called it the death flu. It was just awful. And I got to tell you what, it's not nearly as bad as a COVID-19 infection. There's no way I could have made it up that flight of stairs. Not a chance in hell. Bill, I love throwing these California stories at you. I really do. Your governor's office just released something today.
Oh, yeah.
Gavin Newsom. It reads, going out to eat with members of your household this weekend, don't forget to keep your mask on in between bites.
There's a little trap door that just...
Did he really say that?
Yes.
It really said an official release from the official Newsom office Twitter stream, not his personal one, but the official one. Wear your mask in between bites out to dinner. Is he trying to drive everybody out?
Well, as we've said many times before since this outbreak, I was prepared to make a ton of money with my bat taco stand and my bat on the stick thing, which has cost me greatly financially. And I don't want to really give it away yet because I've got the working prototype and the copyright application is in, so I feel pretty good about it. Basically, it's a mask that we wear here like this. It's a big clear plastic mask, and it covers your mouth. And then here there's like a door, and then the door opens. It's all done magnetically. There's like a little electronic controller behind it, little pump and stuff. So basically, what happens is you open the door, you put the food into the chamber, you close the outer door, and then it's like an airlock. It basically vacuums all the air out, and then releases the inner door, and then the air pressure actually puts the food directly in your mouth where you can chew it, and then you just recycle it and off you go.
No
and it's only
disinfectant spray in that?
$75,000 per unit, and it will protect you completely. You can go to a restaurant and you don't even have to have the mask on because technically speaking, you're not in contact with the air or any other form of reality, which makes it perfect for use here in California.
I like it. I just I'm gonna have to spend the additional $15,000 for the special soup attachment.
Well, the prototype is about this big.
I think that the internal vacuum
and it weighs 35 pounds.
The average Californian.
Yeah, it's got a neck brace and stuff to help because it does tend to pull the face down.
Yeah, and you'll have to be on a Segway to be mobile while wearing this thing, correct? And that's an additional add-on. Well,
the mobile version's a whole other story because now you got to get into gyro stabilization, all kinds of other things. I'm not going to worry about that just yet.
You got to get the whole package.
Scott, we'll finish with you here. Virginia Department of Elections is instructing voters who use one of 6 public mailboxes to drop mail in ballots in central Virginia over the weekend to contact the post office following reported tampering. So, number one, you have to know which post office box you put your ballot in. Number 2, you have to see the warning that there was tampering. Number 3, you have to get in touch with the post office. Number 4, you're going to have to get a new ballot. Number 5, the Virginia Department of Elections, or whoever is in charge of this on election day, is going to have to reconcile people who did this by mistake and now have voted twice, and all the rest. And this is just one small example in one small area of one medium-sized state. So my question to you, Scott, is how much of a clusterfuck is Election Day going to be?
I seriously don't think it's going to be as bad as it's being advertised. I really don't think that there's going to be widespread problems. I do think that there will be widespread stories like this that will get spread wider and echoed through the social media chamber, so that people will begin to think that pretty much every ballot that gets mailed in, is opened by 17 people and passed from hand to hand and then disposed of. So call me naive, and you often have, and so have our viewers. But I really don't think that this is going to be a major issue that could swing the election anyway. There's a big controversy in Texas right now because the governor is, according to the left and the media, is trying to restrict the number of places where people can drop off their ballots. And he's saying, the governor, Greg Abbott, is saying that we just need to make sure that we can provide appropriate security and safety at the ballot drop-off location. So there'll be one per county. And there are like a zillion counties in Texas. I'm not one of these that gets all alarmed every election season and thinks that somebody's going to steal the election from corruption. No, my problem is that the election is being stolen perfectly legally by people who are being lied to, and then they're going out and voting according to the lies.
Yeah, that's a great point. I'm not worried so much. I'm going to throw out my headline and just talk about this because I think it's important. I'm not so worried about an election being stolen through fraud. And Democrats have proven able enough to do that on close elections, like the Minnesota senator's election back in 2008. Al Franken, thank you. Absolutely stolen. But that's one of those things where they don't steal it in advance. It's a very close one, and suddenly ballots magically appear. They're very good at this stuff, but it has to be a close election for it to work. I think there's something deeper going on here, though, with all of this incompetence and yet insisting on all of this mail-in balloting, which feeds right into the incompetence at the post office. And with states that have no practice at this, we're pretty good at it in Colorado. They're pretty good at it in, I think it's Oregon and Washington. The rest of the country is pretty much not ready for this. And yet the Democrats are insisting on it. And the reason I don't think is to steal this particular election. They've already got the media and Hollywood and all the rest pushing 24/7, 365 on that, and they have been since 4 years ago now almost. What I think they're trying to do is to discredit not this particular election, but the entire system. Because once people lose faith in the system, they will be ready for it to be replaced with something else that will be easier for the left to control. That's the thing that keeps me up at night. I hope it doesn't keep you up at night, though, because we got a lot to talk about between now and Election Day and a lot to talk about after Election Day. So if you're not a member, please click over to BillWhittle.com. Sign up today. We need you on board. We need your support. We'd love to have your support. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.